everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. This is episode, what was it? 85? No, 95. Holy shit, we're almost at 100 freaking episodes on this. Odis Bodis. Da boy. Da boy. Pet da boy. Alright, Captain, what's your role in my army? I'm responsible for drills, organizing exercises, and briefing the officers on the strategies you approve. Furthermore, I have the honor of serving as the chair of your military council. Remind me of the responsibilities of the military council. Been down this road, I think. The military council determines the strategy for our troops, enacts army reforms, approves new equipment standards, and makes decisions on all issues regarding military action on the front lines. Sure. You've had encounters with Koremzadeh. I think it's Koremzadeh is how we try to pronounce it. Before, haven't you? Only in the halls of my mind, back when I was a young lieutenant dreaming of the title of Crusade Commander. And who among us hasn't dreamt of being in your shoes, Commander, at least for a little while. I knew I would one day meet him on the battlefield. I'm sure there are more powerful demons in the world wound, but in this war where entire armies fight for victory rather than individual warriors, he is Mindev's greatest enemy. Interesting. I'd studied countless reports on battles against him, played out countless of his historic battles in my head, trying to spot his mistakes. I did spot a few, or so I hoped. But I never had the chance to put it to the test. I moved up in rank, knowing that the day when we would come face to face was drawing ever closer. The most important day of my life. I could feel that it was very close. Tell me about your military career. My family has lived in Mindev for generations, simple but prosperous folk. Even as a child, I was interested in the study of warfare. I always knew I'd end up joining the ranks of professional soldiers. After serving for 3 years as a cadet in the capital, I went to Lastwall, where I graduated from the Crusader War College with honors. Then, I returned to Mindev. For 25 years, I fought many battles as part of various border units. As a result of my service, I was distinguished by command with a promotion to the rank of captain, a subsequent transfer to headquarters. Captain Otan falters and his expression darkens. He remains silent for a while, then shakes his head and continues. Now that I didn't have to do drills, I had the time to focus on studying tactics and strategy. My fellow officers called my desk the archive because it was always covered with manuscripts and military treaties. Alas, I never did become a commander, even though it was my childhood dream. But I was able to become a competent enough officer to be serving directly under your authority. I hope you'll find my knowledge useful. Get the feeling you've had your share of pain on the front lines. Captain Odan presses his lips together. No more than the soldiers from my squad. My last battle was at Villareth Ford's outpost, north of Canabras. The demons, they brought flame down upon us. I'd never seen anything like it. Walls of fire spewing out fireballs. 300 men, 300 soldiers, turned into screaming, burning meat. Oof. His portrait reminds me of the guy that you can discuss like the political lay of the land with in The Witcher 3. I can't remember the city. Wherever can't remember the name of the person. Fuck, my brain is so dead tonight. I'm so sorry. It's not hard. It's... blink, 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 blink. Like that's gonna help me suddenly manifest the knowledge that I know that I have access to in my mind. My god. I'm distraught. Believe it or not, in the light of that cursed flame, the battlefield was dark as a cave. The smoke was so thick you couldn't see any further away than your own hand. We held that day, but the price was high. I paid mine as well. It took a miracle for the clerics to pull me out of my melted armor. And it took me 4 years before I could remain calm near fire. Any fire. Even candlelight. Which is Interesting considering his portrait is in candlelight. I thought they'd write me off as psychologically broken, but instead I was promoted. Apparently, in that inferno, we managed to deflect a terrible blow and protect Canabras from the attack of a superior force. Apparently, we were heroes, unyielding as rock. I didn't know that at the time. We were just fighting. Burning and fighting. Fuck. All right, Captain Odan. That was
See what we can do.
Emotionally rough. Dorgalinda is another one of those individuals. Let's go ahead and see what Dorgalinda has to talk about. Commander, the middle-aged dwarf salutes you casually. Her face is disfigured by huge scarred claw marks. One of her eyes is covered by a black patch, but the other is looking at you sternly and intently. Dorgalinda Stranglehold at your service. What's your role in my army? We already know these, but still. I'm the chief quartermaster in charge of material support. I make sure our brave soldiers are armed, armored, and fed when they go into battle. Or at least two out of 3 are. Know how it goes. Wow. I'm also the head of the Logistics Council. If we are missing anything, I'll report it to you right away. What do the Logistics Councils do? It's supplies. What else? As you lead your troops into those legendary battles, we solve various non-heroic issues, like what our fighters are going to eat tomorrow, how to fix a chainmail shortage, and how to get our hands on a shipment of helmets we purchased that's stuck somewhere in Ustalov. Those are the headaches we deal with. Sometimes, however, we're faced with something we can't just hash out without you. That's when we have to assemble the council and ask for your decision. But, Torag willing, it won't happen too often. We've got your supplies covered, so you go ahead and be heroic to your heart's content. What became of the quartermaster who was taking care of the supplies during the march on Dresden? Nothing, really. He got a medal for his heroism during the assault on Dresden, and now he's right back where he was, keeping up the good work. It's just that a fortress like Dresden is a little out of his league. When you need to supply the camp during a march, he's your man. It takes a different set of skills to be a chief quartermaster. What's with that nickname, Stranglehold? Our resident jokesters came up with it when my hand went numb from the wound. She holds up her crooked fingers, withered to the bone. After that, I left the front lines for the supply service. And then I showed every wisecracker that one hand is all you need to keep your supplies in order. My grip really is a stranglehold, you see. All those thieving quartermasters who go out of their way to sell some ammunition on the sly. Scatterbrained officers who lose half a caravan in every skirmish. Civilian milksops who always have a sob story to explain why they can't give anything to the army. They all learn well why people call old Dorgalinda Stranglehold. All fucking right then. We have spells available that could restore your hand. Spend it on some poor sap whose legs got ripped off in the first battle. Thank you for your concern, Commander, but while we're at war, resources should be sent where they're needed. I'm handling the logistics just fine with one hand. I like that. Mr. Vash is being put in a stranglehold by the children again. That's nice. Why does that ring a bell? What is that from? I do not know. Alright, I have to go. Good luck on the front lines. We've always got your back. Our job. Alright. Dorgalinda's. You alright? Lady Konomi, I did not have the greatest time with. Ooh, It's from Trigun. So yeah, right when you said Vash, I was like, the only Vash I know is Trigun. But when I Google searched it, it didn't come up with anything. So I was like, I don't know. Fuck if I know. So. Holy crap, Konomi, you got a lot of stuff. Lady Konomi is engrossed in reading some kind of letter. Upon noticing you, she frowns nervously for a moment, but then greets you with a graceful bow. Commander, how may I be of service to you? What's your role in my army? Oh, don't get me wrong, Commander. I'm not your soldier. I serve Her Majesty Queen Galfrey. She sent me to head the diplomatic council of the Crusade to consult with you on particularly sensitive matters. What's the diplomatic council, and why do I need it? To solve matters of politics, of course. The Crusade is more than just battles and sieges. It is the largest military project in all of Avestan, funded by the treasuries of more than a dozen major powers. We've read this part before. Each one of those powers, in addition to seeking victory over the demons, also pursues its own goals. The Diplomatic Council will manage this tangle of political interests and prevent the Crusade from losing the favor of influential benefactors. And while we're at it, ensure that Neurosian remains satisfied with the state of affairs. After all, for the last 100 years, the entirety of Mendevian politics has revolved around the Crusades in some shape or form. That is why the capital has sent me here, to observe, offer suggestions, and keep the diplomatic situation under control. Tell me more about the Royal Council. What is it? The Royal Council, operating under Her Majesty, is the highest governing body in Mendev and comprises her most able and trusted servants. It's responsible for day-to-day matters of state. They are the hands and the voice of the Queen. The Council has gathered people from all walks of life. Some of them are nobles. Again, I think we've read through this before. I don't want to read everything twice. What about yourself? Yes. Okay, again, all of the same stuff. What are you reading? This should be new. That is a state secret. But for you, I can offer a hint. Every single day, I receive dozens of classified diplomatic missives from all countries supporting the Crusade. That's a hint? I'm happy to oblige. I'm always willing to talk about my craft. What's the current situation in Mendev? Things aren't terrible for a nation that's been at war with a demonic invasion force for a century. The people are weary of taxes, the army continues to pay tributes in blood, and many noble families are dying out, which breeds inheritance disputes. However, the crown stands strong, and its authority remains high. The nobles are ready to follow Her Majesty's orders, and the Royal Council, comprising the closest and most trusted servants of the Queen, governs the nation sensibly and astutely. Why are you so fascinated with politics? Is this something all Kitsune share? Not at all. However, we Kitsune are predators, and our hunting spirit is strong. But, unfortunately, chasing rabbits in the fields is rather boring, vulgar, and unfashionable. Politics is a hunt of a much more dignified sort, refined, captivating. Whenever I pick up the quill to write a letter of protest, I feel like I'm ready to go for my praised throat. So invigorating. Wow. Not comfortable with the Royal Council imposing its will on me. Please don't paint the situation in such a bleak light, Commander. The Royal Council does not seek to hinder you, it merely suggests the most sensible course of action. The members of the Royal Council have been serving Her Majesty for many years and have proven their wisdom. While your attention is focused on the war, they think about Mendev's future. Listen to their words and there will be peace between you. Except the first thing that we have had to do is basically say, oh, they're paranoid, let's assuage their feelings because they think I might be trying to oust them. You don't look like a soldier and you're different from my other advisors. You're right, I'm not a soldier. Warfare has always been too bloody for my tastes. I prefer the intricate tapestries of politics, proposals with double and triple agendas, clashes of ideologies, and long-term strategizing. But they say that war is merely a continuation of politics, which is why my duties have brought me to your headquarters. Kitsune are a rare sight in Mendev. Lady Konomi shrugs. I'm a child of a passionate and curious people. We live everywhere. We're just not always aware of our existence. You're not the first to have taken an interest in my race. Your companion, Ninio, has already interrogated me. Most amusing individual. Truly, we kitsune are incapable of normalcy. Find our passion and surrender to it entirely, mind and soul. Although in Ninio's case, I fear that the mind was lost along with common sense. You might not be wrong, Konomi. Might not be wrong. Alright, Char is there. Horgus Squirm is right there.
Can't make the demons wait.
Go see the one-eyed devil real quick. It actually has stuff. Yeah. Headband of alluring charisma +4. Oh my. I'm kind of inclined to just buy reagents, basically. Or ingredients, I guess, in this case. Bulk selling. Really? I guess technically those are... Yeah. We don't need... Like, we have no real interest in these +1s at this point. Do we? I don't think so. Anything with a name is one thing, right? But like cold iron masterwork longsword, we don't need. That might be good. Don't know when I'm going to use that. Might actually be good. Sure. Do I care about a +4 charisma? Not enough to pay 16k for it right now, I don't think. Alright, Horgus Gworm. Is the one-eyed devil an alchemy crafting station or an NPC? It's column A and column B. It is an NPC, but it's a shop with alchemy supplies. So there's that. Are you aware of my special powers? We've seen this. Yeah, I don't know what. That's such a weird thing for like, we've definitely read that before, and the game was like, okay, well, here, read it again. Here's the option to read it again. Okay, we've got Char here. See what's up with him. Yes, something happened. Where did your boy Morveg go? Pain shines. What? No. Pain shines in the old man's eyes. His fuzzy gray hair is dirty and hangs down in unkempt strands. He sighs heavily. He ran away, packed his things in the dead of night and disappeared. Must have gone to find some demons to fight. He is a Kelid. His entire clan are blood enemies of demons. They also worship the god Gorum. Yeah. Okay. You see the stray wolf hanging from his neck? Their clan talisman, called the Little Fang. Put so much effort to get him to see the light of Iomade. But he imbibed his loyalty to Gorum with his mother's milk. I told him, you can't fight the darkness if you're guided by anger. Rage overwhelms you. You can't. You'll either perish or become a villain. Or get so used to war that you'll forget what it's like to live as a human. He only had one thing on his mind. Vengeance. For his family. For his ancestors. For his wounded honor. I tried to find him. They say he's been going to the tavern a lot recently. Everbright Crusaders don't go to taverns. We keep ourselves clean, body and spirit. Morveg didn't go there to drink or play dice. Looking for a guide. Found one. Kelid too. An old one, descendant of the Sarkorians. Even the demons couldn't force them out of these lands. They say Morveg wanted to go to Wintersun, an ancient Sarkorian settlement. I don't know what he wanted there or where exactly to look for him. There are a lot of demons in that region. Can't send scouts there with an order to leave no stone unturned. Be too many skirmishes with monsters and huge losses. The old man looks completely devastated. I wanted to ask a few questions about yourself. About me, Chair Cobellin? Or me, the glorious Everbright Crusader and the leader of my order? How about your past? The old man scratches his thinning, fuzzy hair. Of my life before the order. So long ago. As a boy, I decided there was too much evil in the world. Someone had to do something about it. Try to fix it. I decided to become a priest. Then I saw the Everbright Crusaders so proud, pure. Someone next to me said, "What arrogant snobs." Odie, every time I touch you, like gobs of hair just come off you. I gotta brush you more. You wanna get brushed, Odie? You want me to brush you? Yeah, brush him, brush him, brush him. He says, I don't like to brush. I like to pet pets, but I don't like to brush. He was right. We Everbright Crusaders actually are a little arrogant. So I thought. Maybe these invincible snobs could use the help and companionship of such a simple and warm-hearted lad like myself. I knew that years later I would become their leader. You don't touch. Tell me about your order. The Everbright Crusaders are not the oldest order, but our traditions are solid. For us, fighting the world wound is not a war, it's our service. We dedicate our lives to it, and also our souls. We have high standards and live under many restrictions. We have no families, drink no liquor, play no games of chance, accumulate no wealth, and own no lands, even if we were entitled to them by birth. We reject everything that distracts us, that draws us to a peaceful life, for our hearts are always turned to war. A war is a grim, ugly thing that makes wicked everyone who takes part in it. We keep our hearts pure, that we are not left sickened by war, that our light does not fade, because darkness can only be overcome by light. Questions? Iomade help you. Okay, so we've gotta find Morveg, I'm assuming. Yeah. Search the area around Wintersun Village. Okay. Cool. One-Eyed Devil, Wilser Grimm's, Exotic Weapons, Captain Harmatan. That's the other person. We want to come over here, though, real quick. I want to check these vendors before we run off doing other stuff. Otis, Otis, Boyo Bean. The Dissector. And the shit is fucking expensive. It's not. If you're spending your you're spending your money wisely, I think, in selling the things that you know you don't need, or selling the copious amount of like potions and etc. Then I think you can actually make a lot more money than I am doing. But I'm a bit of a hoarder, so instead of doing that, I'm not. Basically, yeah. Okay, this is all exotic weapons.
Let's see what we can do.
Jewelry. +1 morale bonus on all skill checks is pretty nice. The whole party. By that, so I just don't have to worry about the freaking passing back and forth. I might actually do that. I might spend 12k on convenience. You could definitely sell the other one. Oh my goodness, that's so many scrolls and other random items. Too much. Too much. Too much clutter. Odie boy, what are you doing? No, don't you touch that. Don't you touch it. Don't you touch it. Touch it. Huh. He's gonna touch it. He was always gonna touch it. He was always gonna choose violence. Seal kind. Sealkind bows respectively and says amiably, "I was hoping you would honor me with a visit. I know you're extremely busy, but I've been eager to meet the person who managed to restore Golarion control over a part of Sarkorian lands for the first time in decades. It is incredibly symbolic." Remind me who you are again? I'm Captain Sealkind, the commanding officer of a mercenary band called the Blackstone Company. We're the vanguard of an Andorran group of sellswords whose services were paid for by Queen Galfrey. Our advanced forces were sent to Dresden, but I'm happy to say that I was chosen to lead them. About your mercenary company. The Blackstone Company is proud to be recognized as one of the finest Andorran mercenary regiments. We're not a bunch of unscrupulous sellswords looking to oppress the innocent and serve the tyrants of the world. We have read this before. Yep, we've read this before. Must have stories to tell. Let's put it this way. If I father any children, I'll have something to tell them. I wasn't even 20 when I joined the Blackstone Company. I've seen my share of scuffles, but my goal in every conflict remains the same: to defend the common folk. Not all sellswords treat civilians well, you know. My soldiers have never disgraced themselves with dishonorable conduct. Boy? 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 If you don't stop touching... If you don't stop touching... You don't stop touching... It's wet, Papa. Wet, Papa. Once I even joined an expedition that reached the crown of the world. I swear I've never neglected such crucial strategic necessities as supplying the troops with warm undergarments after that. You don't like it, do you? He says, I just want you to rub my face, Papa. I know, but you're so greedy and you never quit. You're so greedy. You're a greedy boy. The greediest of boys. Greedy. Okay, enough of that. Despite not always agreeing with my superiors in the company, I earned my reputation as a competent officer. Always relied on thought-out logistics, exercised caution, and strictly followed tactical doctrine. Look like a soldier to the core. You must have been serving all your life. Who knows what the future holds for me? In my spare time, I study history and applied anthropology. Really? Just an amateur, of course. But sometimes I think I'd be a decent lecturer. Almost as good as I am an adventurer. Why, I might even find a way to combine the two callings. Alright, Indiana. Oh, you dodge my kisses? You so incessant and you dodge my kisses? Mwah. Sir. Oh. The headbutts. I was completely smitten when I discovered Sarkorian culture. They were such an interesting people, just freedom-loving, tenacious. Sure, their traditions are not entirely flawless, but nevertheless, their demise was a great loss for all of Avestan. Some questions about your fascination with Sarkoris. Wow. I understand that few people are interested in this subject, even other anthropologists unjustly neglect it. I was thinking of Darevon from Final Fantasy Tactics myself. I think it better called. I could see a Darevon. He's a little too young for maybe a Darevon. For me, anyways. Although I think there is a young version of Darevon in one of the games, or am I misremembering that? But I intend to shed light on this chapter of history. If anything remains of Sarkoris, I will find it, no matter how small its shards may be. Plenty of refugees from Sarkoris found a home in other lands. Their culture lives on. Well, that's open to interpretation. Once Sarkorian refugees found themselves in foreign lands and surrounded by strangers, they inevitably began to adopt the culture of their hosts. Have you met Sarkorians from Numeria? By now, they're more Numerian than not. And for that, I blame the people in power. It was in their interest to erase the cultural identity of the arriving Sarkorians, to forge them into new subjects who had forgotten their homeland. Besides, Sarkoris was never a monolithic entity. It was an alliance of countless tribes, each carrying different cultural baggage, sometimes even contradicting one another. To piece together an understanding of the customs of Sarkoris as a whole, you can't rely on the knowledge of the surviving tribes. What fascinates you so much about Sarkoris? Sparkle of passion gleams in Sealkind's eyes. They were an amazing people. We're used to treating Sarkoris like a barbaric northern land inhabited by brutish and primitive people who condemned magic and danced to the shaman's tunes. But this is our snobbery speaking. In fact, life in Sarkoris was much more nuanced and sophisticated. Behind the false front we erected, there was hiding a nation of skilled craftsmen, wise stargazers, enlightened priests, and clear-thinking chieftains. They were anything but bloodthirsty and brutish. They managed to create a nation without shackling themselves with the bonds of monarchy, or thrusting power into the hands of wealthy magnates. They were cultured, spiritual, curious, and they despised injustice. Sure, they had their flaws, but there are many nations in the world where power genuinely belongs to the people? What you rolling for? You trying to look cute? You trying to look cute? It says, I get more pets when I roll. Over the last few years, I've seen acts of horror even in Andoran, not to mention in other countries. In Sarkoris, power was given to those who earned their authority. I feel that if it weren't for the World Wound disaster, they would have given Avestan and the entirety of Golarion a distinct vision of the future, where everyone was free and equal. The fall of Sarkoris is a tragedy, and therefore we must expend every effort to collect the pieces of that picture. How do you plan to look for the remnants of Sarkorian culture? I'm sending scout patrols to places where, if my assumptions are correct, there may still be Sarkorian refugees hidden in plain sight. I don't believe a whole country can perish without a trace. Among the locations I'm interested in are Pelurus Fall, the mining town of Sazvel to the west of here, the city of Undaren, Bloodwood Settlement, and many others. The captain's expression grows stern. Of course, some of the company commanders think I divert too many resources to such expeditions, but I couldn't care less. If there are any survivors, we will save them. Have you ever heard of a village called Winter Sun? Ha! Hey! Hell yeah! Actually, that's why I'm here. As soon as I learned you had discovered a settlement where the surviving Sarkorians still lived, I volunteered to take command of the company vanguard. It's a fantastic, priceless anthropological discovery, and I hope the devastated lands of former Sarkoris still have little nooks like Wintersun. No more questions. Let me know if you need help with your search. Let's do Sarkorian culture. With pleasure. I studied their traditions, their customs, and their rulers. I know what they loved, and I know what they feared. Did they really persecute mystic practitioners in Sarkoris? It would be historically inaccurate to deny it or to excuse these acts. Yes, Sarkorian society was not perfect. They reacted to mystical power with fear and prejudice, but this particular conflict was deeply rooted in politics. In many countries, mystic practitioners hold vast power due to their special abilities. It's these people who often become oppressors, tyrants, despots. Yes, the treatment of mystics in Sarkoris was cruel and unjust, but the people united in struggle against a minority that often encroached upon their interests in a very hostile manner. I'm repulsed by the idea of throwing innocent people into prisons, but I'm not naive. Those political realities can't simply be dismissed or ignored. They need to be understood and addressed, because these desperate actions also have a certain logic at their core. Okay, what do you find the most exciting about Sarkorian history? Have you ever heard of God Callers? They are an amazing and fascinating cultural phenomenon. The Sarkorians were a highly spiritual people that revered not only the deities we know, but also a plethora of lesser entities. Tribe gods, clan gods, settlement gods, and sometimes even patrons of individual families. Okay, so right when you say this, all I can think of is just having like a, I don't know if there's a shaman class in Pathfinder, but if there is, right, having like a god caller shaman subclass, you know? Be fucking dope. God callers could contact these beings and become their, how shall I translate it? Companions. They formed a very strong bond. In a way, gods were their spiritual siblings. Interesting. Well, you can imagine just how different their society was from ours. Union with the divine was a more regular occurrence. The higher powers intervene in the affairs of mortals more often. Who ruled Sarkoris? That's an interesting question. Many people compare Sarkoris to modern kingdoms, since they did have chieftains endowed with absolute power. Still, the nation did not have a single leader. The Council of Chiefs made their decisions together. In some places, the post of chieftain was hereditary, but as far as I know, not everywhere. Besides, their politics were influenced by god-callers and priests who relayed the wishes and expectations of higher powers to common folk, so chieftains could not ignore them. I would compare Sarkoris to modern Andoran rather than to Mindev. It was a true nation, a people firmly aware of their unity and shared purpose. Satisfied my curiosity. Let me know if you need help with your search. Actually, I could use some help. A group of my scouts has gone missing. Presumably, they got lost. They're competent and reliable soldiers that I trained personally. Their orders were to carefully and stealthily retreat if they discovered anything dangerous. If you find my men, please give them directions to Dresden. I'd be extremely grateful. Please let me mark the area they were headed to on your map. Old Sarkorian Mines. Hell yeah! I mean, it's little, right? But I love happening upon a person, right? And talking to them and then getting like, oh, here's this Here's this additional information. Is it telling me Harmatan is inside? Is that what it's... Oh, no, he's up there. Okay. That's a little inconvenient. Just gonna throw it out there. What are you looking at? I can't look at him for too long because he gets suspicious and he's like, oh no, Papa's gonna try to kiss me.
I can handle it.
So I gotta do it all surprise-like. Gotta be all like, mwah. Oh, you dodgy boy. You rude, dodgy boy. Give me a kiss. Oh, he turned it away. Like, no, Papa. Captain Harmatan. Commander! An aged, dark-skinned Garundi man with sharp features addresses you with a confident salute. Instead of hair, his head is covered in sparkling crystals, clearly identifying him as an Oread. Captain Harmatan, at your service. What are your responsibilities in my army? We've read through this. Read through this before. Tell me about yourself. Here we go. Affirmative! I hail from Osirian. My parents were caravanners. They knew the entire length and breadth of the desert, fearing no heat, thirst, or wind. They told me that I was born after they miraculously survived a fierce sandstorm, one that raged for 5 days straight, blocking the sun out of the sky. We call sandstorms like those Harmatans. I don't know if that made me the way I am, but I do know that they named me after that sandstorm. You Klein? Klein, boy? You Klein? You touch? I touch. Alright. I didn't follow in my parents' footsteps. In truth, I feel uneasy in the desert. Among the dunes, I feel like I'm trudging through a swamp. Instead, I enlisted in the army of His Majesty Kemet I. He had just ascended the throne after throwing off the Kelishite yoke and returning Osirian to its independence. I soldiered in the infantry for exactly 100 years. I saw and shed no shortage of blood, both mine and that of others. In other words, I performed my duty to my homeland. But the older I got, the stronger a nagging voice in my heart grew. It kept telling me that I was not fighting for what I should have been. Homeland or not, there was a war in this world that meant more than all the others. I went to a temple of Ra, made my sacrifice and prayed, O King of the Heavens, set me on my path. That same night I had a dream. I was a sandstorm flying above endless lands as if I had falcon's wings. Over the desert, the sea, the forest, right towards the whirlwind. My God had shown me the path. That was clear as day. I resigned and left for faraway Mendev. For 24 years I'd served Her Majesty Galfrey, had a good taste of the abyss. Then that whole disaster in Canabras occurred, and the Queen called for a new crusade. And here I am, fighting under your command. I like Captain Harmatan.
Can't make the demons wait.
What? You go to sleep. You're needy tonight. I'm gonna pet you no more.
Beautiful.
I'm spoiling you. What? 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 Don't you roll more at me. That's not gonna make it better. That doesn't improve the situation. Dingleberry. Dingus. Dingus Mamingus. Alright. Let's peace out. We're going to... Greybor is interesting, but he's not like... I don't know. I feel like I'd rather have Camellia or Ninio. In particular case, we'll take Camellia. Those. And I like Daeron's personality more than I do Social's, unfortunately. But it's fine. It's fine, Otis Spadotus. 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 Keep swinging that tail at me, boyo. Old Sarkorian mines. Holy shit, that's so far away. Wow. Well, at least I don't have to worry about... I feel like maybe we try to get to the Ashen Grotto. See how that goes. Temple of the Good Hunt. Hmm. Yeah. Right. Grab some more of those. Grab some more of those. And head on back. Recruit. Expansive. Also expansive. Back over here. Aha. This is where, in times of yore, the Sarkorians worshipped Erastil, the patron of hunting and country life. The demon invasion left the temple without its flock, but it somehow avoided the wrath of monsters that usually ravage any traces of the worship of good gods. It stands still, empty and decrepit, waiting for the mortals to return. I like that. Let's go check it out. Let's not go check it out. I should probably just rest. Let's head this way. Basically, I'm just spending the time to go with that.
When Iomade became a goddess, her friends probably missed her a lot, huh?
They would have been happy for her, silly. She turned into a goddess. It's not like she moved to Garand.
I mean, they probably still would have missed her, in fairness. Attack out of nowhere. What? Back out of nowhere. Explore the what scar? Conundrum. I think that was the thing. Called. The Molten Scar. Attack out of nowhere. Ah! Okay, so our scout came back. Scout out the ravens southwest of Dresden or send a scouting problem. Words are hard. Okay, what else we got? Events. Envoy from Elysium. Dresden has been visited by a fascinating creature, an Azada, a native of Elysium. Politely stated that he wishes to meet the commander in person. Dayrin asks for an audience. Those are gonna have to wait for now, I think. We might be able to issue that decree. Sure. I'm actually gonna hold on to my material. We're still building. Okay. Oh. Didn't realize. Look at the time. Okay, I'm trying to be good about times tonight so that I don't go to bed too late. So that is going to be the end of this video. If you're watching on Twitch, stick around. We're going to keep playing. If you're watching on YouTube, hope you enjoyed. And we will see you next time for more Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.